Without revealing too much, we'll just say, hey, there's a lot of stuff yet left to do. All right, so that's Gotham. And we'll go and now show off some of the sort of the headquarters in the game, the player cities. So, now, while you've been out adventuring and saving the day or seeking to rule it, of course, you got to have a safe place to return to. And while the police stations are great, you want to see these famous places too. The Hall of Doom has never actually been realized in full detail before. It's always somewhere, and here you can see it's actually on the bottom of the ocean floor. Sharks pulling around outside. Maybe they have lasers on their head. I don't know. Huge volcanic rift, right? And this is the best place to hide out from all the varied heroes that are in the game. This is a player city, so you can come here to trade, to bank, to use the auction house, to group up with friends to get ready to go to the next adventure. There's 3 main wings around this central hub, each one dedicated to one of the sort of origins or mentors in the game. I'm going to enter the magic wing here, and you can see it's set up with not only the notable characters from the magical adventures you've done, but the devices and all sorts of diabolical approaches they have. Here you can see this is the Circe raid armor, so it's the equivalent of the suit that I'm wearing. Because as a hero, I would never be able to get into this city myself. But you can see there, Cheetah is actually giving it out to willing and worthwhile villains. I'll head down into the bowels of the Hall of Doom and actually go into the pit. This is where villains test their strength against one another in a PvP match area. And it's set up to basically be a throwdown. You want to come in here? You can, and you can see the environment, of course, is set up to be sort of a survival of the fittest jungle mode, where you're going against any of the other players, and it just sort of sets the tone. This is also where the legend system is held, where if you want to actually fight as an iconic, you can take on a simulation and play as Batman, Robin, Harley, Bane, any of a host of characters in sort of a fighting game style approach to gameplay that we've inserted into the game and made part of our PvP. This is the tech wing, and in the distance you can see there's the suit that Lex Luthor sponsors. Bizarro happens to be handing it out in this case, although I don't know that he's such a great person to depend upon.
Well, that's the meta wing, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the meta wing. You're right. And let me go to the tech wing, which is over this way. Or it's magic again.
It's an interesting thing too, because like thinking that it was the tech wing, because a lot of people wonder why Lex is the meta mentor. It's because obviously he's opposite of Superman, but also he's desperately trying to get his own powers. He doesn't want to rely on tech, which is why we made that choice there.
Here's Harley, and there's the Joker suit. So Joker sort of hobbled it together. As you can see, there's a bomb in the chest, razor blades wrapped around. So perhaps
for emergencies.
Yeah, just
when you need that bomb.
That's right. Not the safest suit to use, but you can aspire to that. And of course, your opponents would wear the Dark Spectre bat suit that I'm wearing. So all of those iconic battle suits, unique ones for PvP as well as for PvE that you can earn and use. All right.
And there's a little to your left here, as you can see. This is how you get in and out from the safe houses. There's teleporters to various safe houses throughout the city, so you can jump from here to Metropolis and Gotham. This is sort of a hub.
Do you automatically have those plot points, or do you have to discover the areas and then?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So to be able to move back and forth.
Yeah. So once you get to your first safe house or police station, you can go up to the Watchtower or the Hall of Doom, and then you can make the traverse to any other zone that you really want to. The zones are level based, and the episodes are level based. So while you can skip ahead or go to another area and explore it, you might run into some very high level content for you at that time. But the content is pushed to you for the most part. These safe houses and headquarters act as hubs for missions, but we also do grant you missions in the field when your mentor will contact you directly. And there is a through line to the whole thing. We actually have a lot of, each separate episode is its own self-contained story, but a lot of those episodes have their own story arc, right? So Road to Arkham, for example, if you just played the Scarecrow episode, you had your own complete story there, but each one of those Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, and Mr. Freeze episodes, while they stand alone, are leading through to a greater storyline, which culminates at the end of the game.
So in our geography lesson, we've shown you the scope of the world, we've shown you the DC moments and areas that we have within it. Now let's actually show you what's out and beyond Earth itself, or what are some of the far corners. Here we have Kahndaq. This is actually a Middle Eastern fictional country in the DC universe ruled by Black Adam. It is the center of sort of mystical energy for the story of the game. Jens, you want to break down what Black Adam's doing in the game?
Yeah, so basically Black Adam, in the current continuity, found his true love. Her name was Isis. He granted her these powers, and she had the power of Isis. She ends up getting killed, and he's been on this sort of quest to resurrect her. So his whole storyline starts out with characters like Felix Faust and Zatanna and all these other great characters that sort of go, and Captain Marvel, for instance, Shazam, right? And he's trying to resurrect his wife, and he doesn't care at what price. Faust and him are sucking souls out of people to fuel this dark ritual to bring his wife back. But in the end, he's betrayed by Faust, and Black Adam sort of remains this sort of anti-hero, dangerous ally kind of figure as you're going through here. And this is sort of the raid to finally take him down.
Now this is one of the alerts, but this is an 8-player alert. So this is actually max level in the game, and you're going to have to really bring your skills for it because, of course, you're fighting every person who ever died in Kahndaq that Black Adam's forces have drawn up. As you can see, this really sets a tone apart from the cities themselves and gives you a sense of the DC universe and the starting point we've chosen to build upon, right? All sorts of diverse environments, and of course, one of the sort of far corners of the Earth itself.
Lots of trouble around the globe, and you're going to be, there right in the thick of it.
Now, alerts are interesting because while you're doing your normal episode, you can queue up for alert and basically sign up. It'll then, once there's enough heroes or villains to be able to go to it, pop automatically. You can jet off to the far corners, defeat the foes, and then be put right back where you were to continue on your missions. So they're sort of interspersed through your overall progression and give you a chance to get your feet wet in grouping mechanics. This one is the last one in the game and is actually the most difficult one for you to accomplish. You actually are able to earn endgame pieces of armor from playing this alert.
Alerts are very interesting too in terms of how they work with these groups. You can go in there and it's a through line of action, and you can go in and kind of be working solo but sort of as a group on various missions, and you're just all contributing toward the same goals, but you're all going to eventually get funneled in toward these mini bosses and finally the end boss, in this case Black Adam. The larger challenges require groups to accomplish, but in the in-between stages you can roll as a group, or you can kind of go off and divide and conquer. It's up to you.
And the alerts play a lot more like co-op on your typical console game, where there's a lot of just frenetic fray where you're in there punching, smashing things. The raids we have in the game are all based on interiors and are highly tactical and much more contained. So there's all sorts of different types of grouping you can do. Similarly, there's different types of PvP, right? There's where you can play as yourself in an arena and go against other opponents in these our arena battlegrounds. Or there's the Legends system. So we've given a huge diversity to the endgame, launching with it fully vested, so there's lots for you to do.
Brainiac are in league to plunder exobytes embedded in the moon's surface from future Nexus detonation. But that is not the immediate threat.
And I'm gonna need God mode.
Lightning threatens to split the moon in half. You must lead the Star Labs forces and defeat Queen Bee.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So this alert is interesting because you hack the Hive's teleporters and, of course, head to the moon.
There's a watchtower.
Wait, where?
Right there.
Bam! There you go. Seen it from the outside. Hive is a techno-terrorist organization which is using the exabytes for their own nefarious ends. When Lex detonated the exabyte delivery device, a lot of those exabytes hit the moon, and of course there's no one there to get infected by them. So sort of raw exabytes are here to be mined. And you're sending an alert here with other players to stop Hive from doing this, or to steal the exabytes for yourself or your mentor.
And before anyone asks, all the red towers on the bottom are atmospheric processors and gravity inducers. That's why the moon behaves as it does here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is the drill site for it, and as the missions commence, you go through various phases developing this as you push the swarm back and get Hive sort of on its heels as you move through the moon base, heading eventually to their sort of launch facility, where, of course, they have huge beach-shaped spaceships.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. Well, if you're going to be called Hive, why go halfway, right? Why not just go, hey, we need a giant bumblebee spaceship? Right? And again, you are going to be literally swarmed by dozens and dozens of opponents here. So this is going to take a lot of role-based tactics for you to get on. This is where you're going to have to start to get your MMO skills honed back, along with your action game console skills, so that you're able to meld both of them and not only fight like a hero with your combinations, but fight with others in very MMO sort of raid and tactical bases.
So just like really quick, so if you see the stuff on the right, start, revive Starlab's troops, defeat Hive troops, all these stuff. An area like this, which Chris is in right now, those represent the goals you would need to, accomplish in that area. And like I said before, do it as individuals.